broad laws, practices. I mean, they're your property, but I don't know if 18's that age in common law, but it's once they can start making their own decisions, they should be able to, they have free will. So, but our legalese really makes it difficult and gives parents more rights to determine what they do and do not do as a kid. So it's difficult. So I feel you.
Looks like we're live. FYI, I think I got it. So we are live right now, but continue on. Just know that we are live.
Oh, I was going to just say, I think it's interesting that they can choose their gender. They can choose to have a sex assignment change, gender change surgery, but not this. Like, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we can end that conversation, or we can chat about it. Anyway,
I think it's an important one, and I think that just in far as that vaccine one, there's a quantum physician down here. I don't have to find where you guys are. I'm talking into my blank screen. But there's a quantum physician down here that said to us recently, if you do get it, he can do something to like counter it. So just something to think about, But it's a big topic, you guys, and I feel like all of us are really in such a, I don't want to say chamber, but that's the word in my head right now. It feels like we're getting like barbecued, just really, really fried in all aspects, like from every direction, and it just feels like the only thing that we can really do is similar to what Erin was just saying, which is just be the light and sit with it and allow it. But, I'm glad Justin's here, and hi, Kazri, and hi, all of you beauties. I want to talk about that concept today too, around turning the other cheek. Like, what is that? How does that play out? And how do we know when turning the other cheek is the right thing to do and turning the other cheek is being complicit? And that's the boundary. Like, that's the fine line that we're walking right now. That is very, it's got me pensive, and I know we're not supposed to take any thought. And so I get that aspect of it, but it's got me contemplative. It's got me really living in this question of how are we operating as we're shifting our reality, like, because it feels like, for example, when we're flying and things like that, I looked at Danny and I go, we just need our own plane. I'm going to do this. Like, we just need to get our own plane. We need to get our own whole system going here, because it feels like, just the checkpoints, like every 10 minutes. And it's like all of these people in masks and these visor things standing there like this, watching. And my kids would not wear, like, they were just like walking with their chins up, walking through. And Danny's, we're kind of not like, we're not following directions. We're not following directions, and it's obvious that we're different. I kept looking for somebody else that was kind of pushing the line. I maybe saw 2 people that pushed the line, and we took 4 airplanes in 6-7 days. That's not a lot, and it was kind of disappointing. So these are a few of the things we're going to talk about. And I know we've kind of started off on a little bit of a heavy note, so I want to get us back up to the light. So let's meditate a little bit together, friends, and ground in our energy to following directions. Excuse me. Just had to happen. All right, so let's find a comfortable seated position. Beautiful friends, lots of gratitude for you being here in this present moment. And I invite you to close your eyes and just take a big exhale through your mouth. Resting your hands open on your lap. Can close your eyes or even keep them open and gently gazed out in front of you. In this practice, I invite us to just be. To just be with all of it. Together, joining our intention for the highest love, the highest conversation, purest wisdom, the greatest joy. Creating a safe container, chamber of light for everyone here present in whatever capacity. That our cells be infused with the light of our Creator. That our consciousness be lifted, our hearts purified, our physical body enlightened. Our auras purified, our chakras cleansed. We'll take 3 conscious breaths together to the count of 4, 4, 8. So whenever you're ready, you'll take a big inhale through your nose, counting to 4. Let your belly get big and then hold your breath. Open your mouth and exhale with the sound to 8. Two more, breathing in deeply through your nose. Hold. Open and exhale. And again, breathing in. Hold. Open and exhale. Asking that our presence be a blessing. And that our work be of service to all of mankind. Gently reaching your hands together in Anjali Mudra in front of your heart center. And with love and with gratitude. Namaste. Namaste. Stay. Take off my pin. All right. Everybody okay? It's interesting that we started talking about our children before we went live, because that's really been so present for me also in these last few days. Yeah, it's been really present. You know, I think that those of us that are here have gone through several portals, several places where we have walked through the fire. We've felt great despair, disgust, sadness. We've felt all of those things that are not ours, you know, that have been placed on us through this duality and through this opportunity that we're all living through to transcend and to evolve and to take up our rightful place at the right hand of the Father. That's what we've been up to. That's what we've been moving through in so many ways. And for a lot of us, at least I'll speak for myself, it's been very surprising how much darkness we've had to go through, how much we've had to see in that journey back to God. And the only thing I can really come up with is that it's all for the good. that we've got to go through these things so that we get stronger. It's like Amber said to me, you know, the deeper the roots, the higher the branches. And that's what this community is about. It's been about going really, really deep. And all of us in one way or another have been accused of being judgmental, of being hurtful, of being the very things that we are going against. And it's a little bit confusing at times, isn't it? To be like, wait a second here, I'm just telling the truth. I'm just saying what is, you know? And then the conversation comes back and it's like, well, what authority? You know, remember from the Bible, the book of Matthew, like, what authority do you speak from? And the authority that all of us are speaking from is that place of doing the work, of having these moments, these meditative moments, of the clarity that comes from cleaning up your diet, the strength that comes from sitting through the fire and listening to, you know, a Charlie Freak blow out on vampires. There's a strength that happens when you allow yourself to sit in that discomfort and still come out in the light. Isn't it true? Are you with me? There's something alchemical that happens when we go through these portals and these transformations. And the trick now I'm finding is that, how do we relate to the old? How do we communicate with the other side of this anymore when every time we do so, it's perceived as some kind of a threat to their very system? Rightly so, because it is. It's intended to be that way, but not from a place of hurt. And I'm sure all of you can, at least on some level, relate to that sometimes it feels like we're hurting the people that we love. We don't mean to, but sometimes it comes out that way. And then it kind of leaves us, at least for me, it's left me a little bit, you know, contemplative, like, okay, how can I refine? Okay, I hear you. How can I refine my language? How can I refine my approach without being complicit and without changing the message? That's the question I'm living in. I'm super excited to hear what you guys have, because that to me, you know, is what we're talking about. And let's say, you know, pre-2020, it was easier to just, you know, turn the other cheek. Just, it's fine. It's just the way it is. Just stay in the light, stay in the love, do the things. Whereas 2020 had so many of us that were doing that go, well, wait a second, and then looking. And it was like there were laser beams coming out of our eyeballs. It was like, and I felt like to a certain extent, I went swimming, like moving through all of the gunk. And so much of it isn't mine. And that's what I always talk to you guys about, right? About how our innocence is in a trust, our purity, children of God, mankind, like we're pure. There's a part of us that is so totally unfazed by all of this craziness. And that's the part I want to be, because that's the part that's real. Everything else has been the miscreations of, you know, human beings and all of the things that we do. And so as we continue to let go of all of this stuff, I think it's really important to, at least for me, I'm remembering, and if it's relevant for me, it might be relevant for you, to get out of the guilt, because that's not mine. And the blame, it's not mine. And anytime I say something that's offensive to a family member or a friend, to a stranger, if you're hurt by that, I wonder if we could look at that as less of a hurt or attack to self with a capital S, but more as a poke at the ego. Just a poke. For whatever reason, I wish I could take this role off me sometimes. I don't want to be a poker. I don't know how I got tapped to be a poker. In yoga trainings, it was so much easier because, you know, it was just like, you know, move your foot or what would you be willing to see things differently? It wasn't as deep. This movement is like poking to the core wounds, to the attachments, to the perceptions that we've passed on, to the family of origin the hereditary stuff that we've got past. It's like, it pokes so deep. And then the poker is like, you're mean. The poker is a lover. And I just want to say that we're lovers. I don't mean to hurt anybody. And I don't think anybody here says anything with the intent to hurt. But we have the intent to transcend. And we can't transcend where we're still attached to being right. God's will for us is, I've said this before, it's like this perfect happiness, this bliss, heaven on earth. That's the goal. Right? That's the goal. So that's where we're going. So everything on the way that's not that has to go. And that's a little bit tricky. That's the work of the spiritual work of detachment, isn't it? Of like learning how Aaron was saying that earlier, like how to be detached, like knowing something is incorrect and how to stay in the light no matter what, like how to just let that be. I know, I love that picture. I'm going to put you on the pin. Can you put it back up for a second so we can spotlight that? That's such a good picture. Yeah. You can see him right there in the middle. That's Aaron. See him? There he is. And that part, that's Aaron, is also all of us. And this is a really tenderizing journey, isn't it? Super tenderizing. I mean, it's also very strengthening, but just knowing, you know, where some of you guys were coming from in terms of like looking at our kids, like I'm looking at my daughter and I'm thinking, okay, now we're taking a break from the school. They felt really offended and upset around some of the things that I've shared with you guys. And, you know, when I come to these circles, I don't think about the fact that they're live. I know in the beginning I have to sort out kind of that stuff, but I don't think about the fact that they're live. I don't think about who's going to watch them. I take no thought. I just go for it. If I thought about it, I probably wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Who would? If you really thought about this, would you do it? Would you come on these shows if you knew, like, you know, somebody that you love that thinks you're totally nutso? I don't know, because we don't think anymore. We're training ourselves not to think so much about what other people think about us. Not responsible for other people's thoughts and feelings. Okay, so if I'm not responsible for other people's thoughts and feelings and I come out here on a live and I share and I just go for it, I have to be prepared for the fact that someone's going to hear it and not be happy about it. And there might be repercussions. And one of those is that this week we're taking a break from the school. And it's heartbreaking for me. And I'm surprised because, you know, for me, it's okay. You know, I get it. I know that we're misaligned. I know there's some things that I want to change that they don't want to change yet. And I know that they're in charge and I'm kind of just a participant in the community. And I get it. Some of my offerings, you know, push too many buttons and I get it. But for the children, it's like all their friends and it's fun. And they just want to go. And the deepest cut, which I know is the one that we're all into. We want the deepest cut. And I'm sure some of you've got some things to share here in a second. But the deepest cut for me is that I said I wanted you guys. I said I wanted the people that were going to tell the kids the truth and weren't going to sugarcoat things to protect other people's feelings anymore. It's not that I don't care about other people's feelings, but the stakes, guys, are so high right now, aren't they? It's not anymore. Like it's just so much bigger than it was a little while ago. Like my daughter has there's health issues that come up now if we're not serious about the diet. She's 7. If I let her go like this, and I absolutely want the children to have a choice. Don't you? Don't we want everyone has a choice. That's nature. That's metaphysics. We can't take away their choices. But what we can and what we must do is create a safe environment for them to make the choices that support their natural state of being. This is that process is stepping more and more into our natural state of being. And the world that we found ourselves in is very unnatural. Got people wearing gloves and masks and no one's looking at each other in the eye. No one smiles. This is not natural. This is not heaven. This is not brotherhood and sisterhood. This is total strangers imposing their fear on others. I mean, these are kind of the facts of life these days. This is what's happening. And so as we step out more and more, it's going to take some serious heart strengthening. And anytime my heart breaks, I know that it's getting stronger. It's just layers of the wall. And that the children are going to be great. And that there is a solution. And maybe we're going to work through this in a really beautiful way. And it's going to be an example, a shining example to the rest of the community, how to coexist. But the fundamentals are in place. And those of us that are saying, guys, this is the truth. This is not my truth. This is the truth. I mean no harm. I mean no judgment. If this pushes your buttons, maybe there's something deeper to look at. I mean, remember, Jesus didn't go into the temple and see the money tables and just go, well, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I'm not going to say anything about it. I don't know how this happened to me, how this happened to all of us. We all just kind of got our christened light activated and we were like, hey, what's going on here? You guys are all frozen all of a sudden on my screen. Are we still good? Okay. So yeah, I mean, that's my little share. It's been really, I mean, the best part, I see that Kira's here, was the safe haven of Kira's home and Kira's love. And knowing that this is real. What's happening in this online Zoom rectangle situation is real. This is real. And it's only a matter of time until we're all together. And being in the presence of Kira was such a blessing. And that's what I think is why we're all still showing up to these things and being present, because we're so fed. Our souls are fed. My friends. By knowing that we're safe. We're safe here. And we've all been thirsty for that our whole lives, haven't we? Just to be safe. Just to be like, I get you. I see you. I see you. I know you don't have malintent. I know you're a lover. I know you're innocent. I know you're learning. I know you've been traumatized. I know you've had hardship. I know you're stronger than you think you are. I see you. I see you. I see you. Yeah, that's what we're here for. And that's what we're doing. So that's kind of my little share. It's probably not the brightest one I've had in a while, but it's where I'm at. And that's what the function for me in terms of service is just to come and share what is present for me and to not think too much about what people are going to say, how they're going to feel. If I live my life like that, then that's what it used to be. You know, I'm responsible for other people's feelings. And I certainly don't mean to hurt anybody. But yeah, sometimes that happens. Yeah. But you're a spiritual, yoga teacher. You should be kind and, right? Sometimes love is very fierce, isn't it? I think Kira called it that, like white light, like that laser. Sometimes it just can slice right through you. And that's how I felt initially too, so much of the time when I was learning all of this information. And I don't like to talk about, the whole A word situation too much, if ever. But we can't, that's why I think so many of us have become so serious about this. Because we realized that wasn't just something made up in a Hollywood movie, that's like real. And so everything becomes about, transcending that as a reality. We don't want that anymore. And we didn't even know we were subscribed to it. You guys are all frozen on my screen, so I'm trusting this is still moving forward. Does anybody want to chime in here? Go for it.
You're loud and clear. Yeah, I'll chime in real quick. Just on the topic of turning the other cheek and kind of the distortion that's taught around that image, and how we find that balance with how we operate and act in right action. So I see this as we have to get really clear on where on what God's laws are, and what the natural laws are, and where harm is actually being caused, because that's where we cannot be silent, and we cannot, be complicit and allow things to just happen when there's actually harm. When there's actually some sort of infringement upon another being out there, that's when we have to do the right thing and take a stand and speak out against it and do whatever appropriate actions are needed. We cannot turn the other cheek in that sort of instance. But where I see Jesus' distinction and what he's referring to with turn the other cheek is really getting clear on where someone's actions are not causing harm, and where it's just our ego's perception that it is causing harm. And that's an opportunity for us to really look at and see that this person's words or how they're coming across, or whatever sort of insults they're throwing, or whatever else, is not really causing harm to me. Only if I allow it to cause harm to me is it actually causing harm. And that's where turning the other cheek is so vital, because at that opportunity, we recognize that person, I mean, if we're boiling it down, that person hurling insults or saying whatever they are, they're trying to weave a spell of black magic, and they're trying to draw us into that spell of black magic and get us to participate in that black magic, that dark art. So if we engage in it, we are unconsciously or consciously choosing to participate in that black magic ritual, and we are causing harm to ourselves, and they are also causing harm to themselves by hurling those sort of insults. So by turning the other cheek, we say, I have the armor of God on. I don't fear your black magic and your rituals, your insults, or anything like that. And I don't have to engage with it, because you're not actually doing anything to cause harm to anyone except yourself. So anytime we feel reactive from something like that, it's an opportunity for us to really look at, where is my ego still controlling me? Where am I being drawn into engage in that sort of behavior? And where can I turn the other cheek and say, this doesn't really matter. You have no power here. You can't do anything to me with that sort of behavior. So that's where I see the distinctions, but we still need to get really clear and not be complicit when someone's actions are actually causing harm to others, especially when it's the weaker in our, the children and the elderly and things of that nature. And everything that's come out in this past year has most certainly caused harm to people with the lies that have been pushed, and with the amount of disinformation that has been put out there. And so that's our righteous action to really step forward and say, no, this is wrong. This is wrong, and I'm going to share the truth, and that's the right thing to do. And it's not so that's kind of where I see the distinction, and where we have to get really clear. It is that middle path, and we do have to really get truly understand like where God's laws are at plays, and how they're just so fundamental to the operation of this world around us. And that's why studying the Bible and any other ancient text really are so vital, because they really do provide a clear indication of the handbook to this reality and how we need to operate within it. And if we don't operate within those bounds, then we're doomed to suffer. And that's just the nature of it, that's just how it operates. And it's all for our highest good. It's all for our greatest potential. So yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents.
Beautiful. I love that. Thanks, Justin. Yeah, it's really beautiful to have you here on that perspective, because it is about that. It's so much. I mean, what are God's laws? And are we following God's laws? Not the laws that we say are God's. Like that's like the ego. We've got to really not my will, thy will be done. Not my will, thy will be done. That's what we're learning. That's what all of this is about. And, it's a lot of uncovering that has to happen here. And a lot of surrendering. Another word for will could be thought. I surrender my thought for God's, And for me, it always comes back to intention. Was the intent to be hurtful? Or was the intent to follow God's laws? And I don't think God's here trying to hurt anybody, but God's here trying to say, look, this is how you get here to me. This is how you're going to get home. Hello. Hello. Anybody out there? Hello. You got to clean yourself up. You got to get rid of your parasites. You got to get on the right side of things. It's not meant to hurt your feelings, saying, dude, this is how things are working. And anyone who's out there, saying this is God's law, like it's because we're trying to follow that. And every moment of every day, we're trying to figure out what that means and how to implement that in our reality, and how to stop this whole wheel of suffering. Suffering sucks. It's hard.
Love to jump in right now.
Please.
Yeah, just kind of stem off of what you were saying earlier and what Justin was bringing together. I'll bring another angle of light to it as well. If we think of our experiences with other people as energy, and we bring it back to, we get to choose because God gave us free will to interchange with that energy. And I'll leave that there for a second. But then what is God? God is magnetism. So really to embrace God would to be embracing that truth inside of that moment. So if that moment of truth offends somebody, that's not something that you have to take in as an energy. That's something that their ego is now dealing with, which is just another form of energy. And then to stop the pain and suffering on oneself that we were accustomed to doing in the past, we would choose to exchange with that energy that would be our ego rather than God's will that is inside of us. So as we're going through this transition, we're being presented with all these experiences for us to learn, to really hone in on that depth that we're talking about, how far we're willing to go in finding God. And if God is the true magnetism, which is the truth, which is always going to be propelling us forward, which is allowing us to not get stuck in the mud like the other people that we are experiencing this journey with when we go out into the Babylon world or whatever world, wherever we are experiencing this, we get to choose in every moment whether we're going to get stuck in that energy and hold that with us when, whatever that is, but we're the one that's carrying that ego energy after we leave that experience, or are we going to have that armor of God and walk in that truth and really speak the truth? And we know that we're coming from a place of truth because we've done the work. And if it does offend somebody, well, that's not offending myself, it's offending them. And it's not my ego that I'm offending, it's their ego, because I got that armor of God where I know my direction of truth. But it is a constant battle with that. And I don't think it is for us to take others people's will away from them as much as their energy as well, because people are definitely accustomed to giving their energy out. They're living in victimhood. So of course, everything's happening in a way that they're a victim. So of course they're going to throw it out on everybody else because that's what society and government wants them to do. And we're the totally opposite. So it is a deconstruction of what their true belief systems are, but it's the truth. So offending them at this point, as long as we're coming from the truth, it's just allowing that energy to go right back to them and have their ego deal with it. Because it is, once we don't take that energy from them, that energy has no other place to go other than be reflected right back to them. And sitting in silence and not having a response to some of them sometimes, or giving him that response that is the truth, gives them that kind of poke, like you're saying. It kind of pokes them to the core, like past their ego, and touches their higher self. And it might come out in a very attacking form of words at you, but when they walk away from that energy exchange, they're going to still hold that energy inside of them, and they're going to have to deal with it. So it's really better to speak the truth and allow that to walk away, no matter how hard it is, because sometimes it is with the loved ones or somebody that you're really close with, and it's not the most easiest thing to do. So that's it. That's all I got.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. Carol says here in the chat, it's an opportunity to be grateful. Most of my suffering has come from lack of gratitude. It's interesting. Yeah. Gratitude is. Please, Kira.
Yeah, Kira.
Hello, beautiful family. So nice to be with you all. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you so much all for being here with us so we can create this beautiful portal together. And I'm really in that portal right now, loving all of you and loving all of us, and really seeing the beauty of the opportunity of the door that's open to us right in this now moment, which is to step into the space beyond suffering completely and forever. And that means that all of our actions are a flow of God's beautiful love flowing through us. And that inspires all of our words, all of our thoughts within our own minds, all of our actions. And we take no action until we feel that it's this holy flow and river of light coming through us, because we've purified ourselves and we've said, I'm done with being foolish in the matrix. I'm done with causing suffering. I'm done with polarizing against people. They're all angels of light acting out in this holographic projection around me that is the real world, but it's also responding to the untransmuted programs that are still in operation within my field. And so my greatest gift to honor all of life and to honor God is to clear my field of all these programs that aren't honoring this blessed union of the Father and the Mother within us as we are the living Christ, and keeping company with the angelic aspects of ourselves in our words, inside of our minds, in our hearts and our actions, because that's the field of bliss that we all want to live in. That's the realm that we came here to embody. That's the Garden of Eden. And that's understanding that we're done with polarizing against anyone, because it's not fun. And it's a waste of our energy that we would rather invest building our community with each other. And so my wish for all of us is that we just choose to opt out of suffering so completely, and we use Ho'oponopono or violet light or whatever we need to do to come as quickly into the acceptance of this holy role of ourselves being nestled and sustained in 0 point between the beloved Mother and the beloved Father. That's what we came here to do. And it's such an opportunity to do that right now with each other, loving each other. So that's how I feel. Love you all so much.
It's beautiful. Just imagine sitting next to her, okay? It's awesome. It's awesome. And I was sitting right there in that little nook, like right there. I was just like, whoa. Danny and I were just like, this. What a gift you are, Kira. And the Ho'oponopono has literally saved my life this weekend. I've been like saying it nonstop. But yeah, it's like recalibrating. I love that. Never taking any action unless it's divinely guided. It's great. It's great to remember that. Barb has a great card for us. I just want to read it. It says, changes in your life, including closing doors or missed opportunities, are not going to derail your fulfillment. Realignments are happening based on divine wisdom and timing. You are being, what else is it? That's all I got, Barb. Really good. Wow, Kira. Who else? This is your show today. I'm here to receive from my mighty companions.
I'd like to go back to the kids just briefly, because I think, Marie, if you look at the big picture in the long run, you're going to find the kids will be very grateful that you probably didn't force them to stay in a hypocritical environment where they're learning stuff that you're going to have to help them unlearn. So what, I think in the long run, they'll thank you for not making them stay there. And as summer comes on, you'll be able to go to the beaches and the parks, and there'll be kids there.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about our lives as adults, how many kids do you have in your life now? How many friends have you got in your life that you met at primary school? So the bonds that we make are actually when we're a little older, and they're the ones that tend to stick once we hit kind of that teenage years. So yeah, I know it's a tough thing, and it really is hard. And rather than fight with the school and put your kids in the middle of that, I think further down the track you'll see that you're probably doing the right thing.
Yeah, it's sad because I do love everybody so much. Like, it's not about the love. Like, I do love everybody.
Yeah.
I love the kids so much.
But your love's not going to change what they're going to teach your children.
Yeah. And already, it's funny, Eugene, so we got back and Eugene and Claudia were here at the house and they were juicing, and Eugene was just hilarious. And so we went and had a sunset, and he was talking about something and flat earth came up, and him and Claudia were talking to the children about, Ruby goes, well, I thought it was a circle. And they were like, yeah, well, it's a circle, but it's a flat circle. It's like a disc. And she was like, well, for me, it's like a circle. And I thought, wow, that's something she learned. Like, for me, this is what it is. And for you, that's what it is. That's something. And I was like, okay, well, here it's presenting itself, exactly what you said, of having to, relearn. And the really rubbed me is that is this like, yes, everybody can have their own truth, let's say, about the diet. You do what you think you need to do, what your body tells you to eat meat. Your body tells you to do that. Your body is telling you to eat cooked oils and dairy. Okay, your body, and people say this, they do, and you've all heard it. Well, I just do what my body wants me to do. It's not the body, that's your parasites. Like, that's your sickness that wants that. But then, okay, so we're allowed, okay, we've got to sit here and say, okay, you're right. And this is what I do. And we're supposed to be the light and just lead by example and all of that. But the part that's been, a bit of a rub in terms of just parenting has been like not letting my children's getting confused around what is the truth. Like my daughter reading a book, Mom, is this real? Is this true? Because now she's already going, well, what's true and what's not true? And well, I didn't mean to hurt so-and-so's feelings. I was just sharing, and that's like the rub, because it's like, we're sharing the love, we're sharing the gnosis. Like, I feel like I've tapped this stuff that I love you so much, I want to tell you. And I love you people so much, even though I haven't met you in person. I feel like I know you guys because, like I said earlier, we've passed through all these portals together. We know about some of the heaviest stuff happening on the planet, and we didn't turn away and just protect our own little lives. And I have one foot in one door and one foot in the other. We went all in. And it doesn't mean I don't love the people who haven't jumped all in. I love you. It's awesome you gave up eggs. It's awesome. Okay, now let's keep going. It's like one of my clients right now who, she's one of the few that's left. And she said to me recently, like, I can't believe how amazing I feel on orange juice. I go, you're doing it? She goes, yeah, I just, I can't believe it. And how are you feeding your kids? And so she's like asking questions, and she's curious and she's engaging. And that makes me feel like we're in the same portal. I don't have to be the teacher, but I do appreciate people hearing and going, well, I'm going to try a little bit of that. Instead of saying, well, that's for you and that's not for me, because that feels like a wall. And it's hard to then be in that presence anymore, because then I can't talk. So then I go to these and they're like, just don't say anything. Just don't say anything, because anything that's going to come out of your mouth is going to piss somebody off. That's why I don't hang out with my family of origin so much anymore. Not because I don't love them tremendously. It's because the energies don't match anymore. I don't even want to say mine's better or worse. I don't want to go there anymore. I just want to say I physically, it causes harm to me. I don't know if I've become so sensitive in this transformational journey. Like I literally like, and maybe I'll get better at it as I expand. Maybe I shouldn't speak so freely, or I don't know. I'm living in the question, but I think that that's one of the things for the children that I want them to feel confident. I want them to feel confident that they can express themselves in an environment where they're going to be received. And I know that that's the function of where they're at. And they've done an incredible job in so many ways. Like they've stepped out of like the universal curriculum and all of those things. And it is about teaching. And I love that aspect of it. Like you don't teach the child until they ask for it. You know, so we're not going to, okay, it's 4:00. We're going to sit down and do reading. No, they don't do that. It's very much about them leading their self-directed. I think that that's brilliant. That's why they're there. And then I wonder if this is just a part of it. As we continue to grow, we kind of, all relationships are blessings, right? They get us to certain levels, but not all relationships are meant to last forever in the physical. They last forever, you know, in the metaphysical, because we're all one. But in the physical, sometimes they do run a course. That's the detachment I'm speaking to learning. And it's okay for me, but it's the children and it's all their friends and all of the stuff. And who knows, it might all work itself out. I'm living in the question. And it's like what Kira said, like if I only want to speak what's being divinely guided. And so I've got to really rethink, okay, you know, do I need some refining here?
No, you don't think, darling. That's the trick. Is that as we're strategizing and looping, that's when we're in left brain. That's suffering. We can pull the plug on that whole thing. And that's crossing the river, riding the dragon, no longer having the dragon heat us up with its breath and make us engage in battles. We can transcend that realm of the warrior and live our bliss now, riding the dragon, but we have to cross that river to that place that we have decided that we're taking ourselves down from the cross, that we're no longer in the system called suffering, because as Justin said so beautifully, that we're dancing on their game field. And that is investing God's beautiful energy in a loser's game. And so we don't do that. Homie, don't play that. We pull all of our energy back into the co-creation of this beautiful thing that we're, you know, all of us living our dream. So every bit of energy we're giving to a battle is not energy that we're multiplying with God. And so it becomes then a really holy, righteous thing, that this is what being goodly godly is you don't play the game of the dark anymore. You pull yourself out, you give 100% of your being back to godly pursuits. That's it. And then no one suffers. Our children don't suffer, because we go into God mind that sees spherically in all directions the consequences of every word. And we do not spellcast with our words, and we don't hide behind our words. We're so true in everything, and that's God.
Beautiful.
We're out of suffering because we love ourselves that much. We're taking ourselves down because the living Christ is the one that's taken themselves down off the cross. So we don't suffer anymore. It's just that simple.
Beautiful. Wow. Wow, we take ourselves off the cross. It's so beautiful, Kira.
True, but you know, even the good thoughts are part of ego. You know, thinking in general, just going back to just taking thought or not surrendering all thoughts. You know, even our love for one another could get us into trouble, and that's that exchange of energy where there's a cause and effect, regardless if we're coming from the good side. There is that opposite side that we're creating in the water of that ripple effect that is going to be negative. And since we're going down this journey and being so, you know, getting the clarity and the purity from the thoughts that we're taking. And then when we go back into other energy exchanges that aren't in tune or in line with where we're at, like in these groups, we're, you know, pretty centered. We do create that ripple effect that's going to come back to us. So like Kira was saying, it is really running that, you know, giving the whole thought process away, and riding that dragon, taming it, and walking that middle path of that 0 point or that green shift, or, you know, the photonic light, being that light, being that creation. You know, everything comes from nothing. God is sitting there creating everything. So, you know, truly being in God's presence or walking with the armor of God is, you know, you are having to sacrifice and surrender thoughts. And that's not just the bad thoughts and the ones that we think are bad, because all thinking is some type of thought that is going to have some type of a ripple effect. And definitely have found staying in the middle and allowing the divine energy to come through. Doesn't mean that you're not going to speak and have exchanges with people. It's just the direction and where you're coming from is such a different place where you're not giving off of that energy that's going to have a ripple effect back to you. So it is this transitional period that we are going through on the ascension with the food, with our thoughts, that we do see the heavy matter in people when we walk by them, the smells, the way that they talk, how society is constructed. And we're finding the space of this purity, and, you know, our family's growing bigger and bigger, but that's really putting the job back and the onus and the responsibility back on us. If we're, you know, going to go down this route of, you know, purifying with the food and jumping into these fasts, and, you know, you better be ready for the clarity that you're going to get, and you better be ready for, you know, the changes that are going to be presented to you. If not, you're just going to be turning your back on the light that you stepped into and going back the other direction. And, you know, so it's a big responsibility that we're taking on, and it's just, it's immense, and it's strong to see everybody here every week, very strong actually. So glad to be with everybody.
Well, thank you, Aaron. It is immense. It's transformational. It's just different. Everything changed. We just 1, 2, 3 switch. Wow. You guys are so amazing. I'm so grateful. So grateful. Someone's saying here in the chat, juicing and raw vegan is incredible emotional detox. And yes, you become more sensitized to the world. Hi, Deborah. You're no longer as isolated when giving up to comfort food. Yeah. Yeah, you become so strong, right? Every time you say no to that and yes to God, it's like just change.
It goes down to that true observer, you know, just reminding yourself you're here to watch this, you know, and we are the projectors. We are the manifestation of what we're walking through inside of our beautiful papaya. You know, we are manifesting our reality that we get to walk through, you know, so it is now we have that chance, and our manifestations, I could speak for myself, are happening moment. I mean, minute by minute, the manifestations are showing themselves so fast. So it is, you know, the responsibility that we have doing this is really on us, you know, and being that true observer where we just really truly watching it and being aware of the energy, the subtleties of the feelings that we get in our side of our body, you know, just the subtleties of the energy that we're now being able to tap into from the waste that we got rid of out of our body with the fasting, and the thoughts of we got rid of the darkness, something's going to take its place. Well, our sensitivity, we now need to open our spectrum of how we see things and make sure that we're seeing things in 360 degrees. So we are aware of those subtleties that are kind of just poking at us or tapping us up, you know, from the darkness and the matter that we allow, you know, that we went through and we got rid of. And now it is all new. Now it is all, you know, different than we had experiences before. And I think, you know, being in the observer, making sure that we, you know, seeing things in an energetic level rather than this meat suit kind of physical level, because I think that's where a lot of our confusion has come from, or at least myself, is being attached to the meat suit, not really having a true separation when you're younger, and building these constructs of thought, and, you know, getting to the point where, okay, you're observing things, but you're still kind of, you know, riding the dragon, but not really tame the dragon. You're kind of just on a crash course, kind of bumping into things. But it is the true observer releasing all that and looking at it in a 30,000 foot view, and making sure that we are, you know, creating the energy exchanges that we want and stuff like that. So
yeah, totally. Someone here in the chat is saying, these people we are judging, we were them at one point. We need to have compassion. They know not what they do. Yeah, absolutely. We all were there. And that's why there's no, like, it's not about judgment. Like, I know I was there. I'm so grateful to be moving out of that. That's why we feel there's an authority to speak on it. That's where the authority comes from too, is walking through that portal. Hey, I walked through this. And I think, very natural to want to bring our brothers and sisters with us. It's out of that love and that sincere compassion. But again, it's that free will bit. Everybody's that choice. Everybody's that choice. Who's next? I love how you roll, Aaron. Hi, Sabina. Hi, Kazri. Hey, everybody. Anybody share anything?
Can I share?
Sure. Do you want to put your camera back on?
Yeah, I'm not bouncing around anymore.
No worries. Go ahead. If you want to turn it on or just leave. There you go.
Hello, everyone.
Okay.
One of the things that popped into my head listening to everybody, and this old guy I used to know named Chuck Sue used to say, you don't have to come out swinging every time the bell rings. I took that to heart a long time ago. Another thing that came to me in a thought, or it was given to me, I'll say, was if you make a mistake and you learn a valuable lifelong lesson for it, is it truly a mistake? I don't think anything is a mistake now. Marie, you were talking about relationships and with your family and with kids. I've got 4 kids and 5 grandchildren, and I don't see any of them for various reasons. And, I can dwell on that, and I look back on the years of my parenting and the mistakes I made. And, typically I would go to the dark side and blame myself and feel I should have done this way, that way, basically living my life in the rearview mirror, thinking that I could have fixed something without realizing that everything is playing in a scheme. It was also mentioned that everyone has free will. Everyone has karma. Everybody has a purpose. My children, I think each and every one of them are different, and they're wonderful in their own way. And if I were to change any of my actions, would they still be the same people they are? I've had this conversation with my second daughter, who idolized her grandfather, and basically I was compared to him. I still am in a lot of ways. And she naturally seems to flow towards what we're talking about with her daughter. They do everything together. She's keeping her out of school. She's feeding her healthy foods, interacting on her level in what she wants to do and stuff. And it almost seems like it flows through Angela. It's not something that she had to be taught. And I think I had the conversation with her. I said, because she brought up some things, unpleasantries when she was growing up. And I said, if these things didn't happen, would you still be the same person that you are? And she thought about it. And she says, I said, you are who you are and what you've experienced. And she took right to that and understood that. Like I put in chat, I could speak on this for a long, long, long time and probably be from one side of the spectrum to the other. So I won't do that to you all. But I found that respect for others' free will has to come first. I mean, who am I to know? I know what my truth is, but I don't know what somebody else's truth is. We could be in the same spot and be looking at the same thing, and they could see something totally different than I. And are they right? Or am I right? Or are we both right? Or are we both wrong? Is as vast as the universe is, we're probably both wrong. And I have to look at it that way a lot of times too. 3 words that really are freeing to me in a lot of ways is, I don't know. Just that simple. You know, sometimes I feel obligated, whether it be a work situation or my kids having problems and they need advice or help or an urgent situation, and I feel like I have to be the fixer, and I have to solve the problem, and I have to have all the answers. Well, guess what? I don't. And if I embrace that, I allow them to be able to embrace it too. You know, because what I project to them, I'm going to get back from them. And I've learned this the hard way. I wish I had learned it 30 years ago. I wish I'd learned it when they were 5 or 6 years old, but I didn't. Does that mean that I can't right the ship now? You know, I have to allow people to do what they're going to do. I mean, the big thing right now that I'm seeing on a personal level as well as a bigger level is, you know, all these people going out and getting vaccinated, and it scares the hell out of me. Particularly when my son is hook, line, and sinker, and I can see the whole family jumping in line for that if they haven't already. And I have to come to the fact that a God is working in his life and his family's life as well as mine. And there are answers for everything, and I don't have them. So it takes me back to prayer, and it takes me back to living my life in the moment and having the awareness to be where I'm supposed to be, where I can be useful. And that's it. And a lot of the other stuff is frustrating, you know, you see things going down the wrong path and you want to just grab somebody and pull them back. But that brings me to another saying: you can either let go or be dragged. And and so I got a million of those, by the way. I'll share them with you in appropriate times. But I guess that's all that's popped in for me today.
Well, it's lovely to have your kind of, you know, I hope you don't take this, but like the elder perspective too, like someone who's got 4 adult children, you know, that's like
baby boomer.
You know,
like I heard you say baby boomer last week. It's like, wait a minute, I'm a baby boomer.
well, my parents are baby boomers, so it's kind of, you know, what's interesting about this entire community that's building online is that, like, I think we shared this in one of the shows, you know, it seems like I might not be as close to these people that I love so much, you know, I'm not as close to them, but it might seem like they're gone, but then people that represent those roles show up. Like Kira showed up and was like this earth mother that literally just held us like we were infants, you know, like there was that, and, you know, and then here's Dave, and then there's Aaron, that elder brother, you know, and Justin, this like fierce twin. I feel like he's like this other part of me, and then Alan, you know, and just all of you guys, Penny, just so soft, and all of you guys possess something that I really, really love and want to acknowledge in each of you. It's just this strength and this knowingness of who you are as a child of God. And that really, really feeds me and keeps me showing up to these shows and keeps me encouraged to keep going and to keep casting my net to the right, even when I feel like I might have been caught up in a spell, you know, that I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I don't even know all the details of it, Kira, but all I keep doing, just keep doing it again and again and again. It really works. And being with you guys too. So thanks for all that sharing. Who's next? You? Someone just unmute yourself.
I guess it's me.
Hey. Hi, babe.
Hi. Well, I don't think I'll cry today, but you never know.
I might.
Yeah. Well, I did my big, so last week I shared how, I can't remember what I said, but there was a lot of emotion around the beauty of this group, and just it was cracking my heart open, and how I had to say goodbye to my community. And I had been moving away from them for quite a while, but it was official, and I wrote to them, and yeah, there is emotion coming up. So I'm feeling your heartbreak, Marie. But yeah, I did it. I wrote them very simple, sweet, just heartfelt letter of gratitude. for all the years I got to share with them and that land is like sacred. That land was my home for many years, since 2012. And I just thanked them and said I love them. And perhaps one day, that I was leaving the board, and perhaps one day we can share time and space again, but not at this time. That's it. I didn't have to explain more. They knew. And from my two closest people in that group, they both wrote back very short messages that they were grieving the loss as well. Like they were just heartbroken. Like it was real. They didn't, I don't think they expected that, because they know how much I love that land. I've been the caretaker. I'm the only person that has lived on that land full time in the summer for 4 months. They all come and go. And I was like the gatekeeper. I was the holding space on that land. I was it. So whenever they showed up, it was the land and Khazri. And
Wow.
everyone has their medicine, and my medicine is joy. I bring joy and lightness and dance and sparkles. And that's what they said. They're just brokenhearted. They're gonna miss me. And but it's real now. It's real. And then I thought to myself, like I had this after I sent it, I felt like it was like mic drop, boom, I did it. I like finally. And then I went, oh my God, what did I do?
Yeah.
Like, is it really necessary? Like, why can't I just like get along with everyone? Why can't I just pretend everything's okay? Why can't we just like tiptoe around these issues and just not talk about certain things? It's like, no, that's not me. That's not my reality. That's not my world. That's not the energy I came in with. I came in here to fight this battle and to be authentic and to speak the truth, not my truth. That should be obliterated. That's basically my opinion. The truth. I'm here to speak the truth. And if people can't handle the truth, they should not hang around me, because that's the only thing that I speak is the truth. So it means I've blasted a lot of people out of my life, people that I love dearly, and like say that land. So, but the beautiful thing is that I know that something, it's like, okay, wow, what's next? There's this big gaping hole in my field now. Like was it Aaron, blast the darkness out, or Kira, one of the most wise words I heard today, like blasting that darkness out, that's going to be filled with light. So of course it's the light of this community, and this earth, this beautiful plane of ours is massive, and there's beautiful people all around this plane of ours that we get to connect with. So I'm trusting, not just trusting, I know there's another place on this world. There's probably various places on this plane, this beautiful planet, that I'll get to explore and be part of, and communities. So I'm just in this place of, I don't know where it is. I don't know, but I know it's coming and it's going to be okay. So it was a big decision, and I did it. And there's still like, I feel a little sadness. There's still grief. Like, of course, there's going to be grief for a little while, and it's okay. And I'll cry the tears, and one day those people, they may wake up, they may have their awakening, and the way that I did it so beautifully with so much love for them, that if they choose to wake up in this lifetime to the truth, then we can join together again. And perhaps they will be calling on me and saying, hey, Khazri, would you share with us what you know? Like, we're ready now. We're ready. We're sorry we didn't believe you. We're sorry we shunned you and criticized you and mocked you and tried to censor you. They tried to censor me. And I feel one day they may, because I did it with love, that day may come. And if it does, it'll be beautiful. It'll be beautiful. And I'm not attached, because all that matters is I continue to walk the path of truth to the best of my ability, and the people will come. So I just wanted to share that update. So thank you.
Beautiful. I feel really touched. I feel like we're all getting, tenderized. But yeah, it's like we want to move to the light and to the expansiveness and to the excitement of that. But when we do feel grief or sadness, it's important that we feel it. We feel it and we release, you know. I've for one have been a what do you call it? Like a storer. I store emotions, and now it's about letting them, you know, come up and out and sharing them and knowing that I'm safe. You know, I'm safe. I don't always have to be like, you know, all of that, because what we're going through, Kasri, it's immense. Like Aaron said, this is immense. I love this land. I love these people. I love everything. I love my kids. I love, we love. And truth is gosh, fierce sometimes. Nicole, did you want to say anything before you go? Go for it. What'd you say? Your words today have healed my heart and reminded me so much. I love you all. We love you too. I think adios. I got so happy when I saw Nicole. Namaste. I just love her. I just love you guys. And it's very, you know, one of the things, Kasri, like where something greater is coming, like I'm feeling like, okay, you know, we've all been kind of waiting for this community. Like we've been talking about it. And it's like, I think it's happening now. Like it's time right now. Right now, we got to get with the program. We're here. We're ready. There's, you know, it's here. It's happening. So excited to go up and see Charlie and Colleen at some point too. And it's time. It's happening. What a blessing. You know, I think we kind of, there's a part of it was like, every time I talked about our community and everything, it felt like something in the future. And then this situation, it feels like, it's like what you're saying, Kasri, too. It's like, I think it's now. Now is the time that's real, right? Now is the time that's real. Now is now.
Now is the only time that exists.
Yeah. Welcome, Barb, to the circle. I got Alan, Sarah, Sabina. Do you guys want to share? Hi, Barb.
Hi.
Welcome. Go for it, Sabina. Go for it. Someone just unmute yourself and go. Yeah. We'll get to everybody.
Hello, Marie. Am I on? Okay. Hello, Marie. Hello, everyone else on the call. I'm happy to be here. And sorry, I missed the first part, the main part. So I'm not really exactly sure what the thread of the conversation is. If you could just remind me.
We're just talking about love, you know, and heartache and relationships, the truth, opinions, you know, how it feels to be perceived as being judgmental when you're here to serve. And yeah, Kira shared a lot about, you know, just letting all of it, like all action be guided, everything, every word, every thought, so that everything is in the flow and serves the highest. Paraphrase, but yeah, it's kind of all about that.
All right. I mean, for me, it's really started to happen last year when this lockdown came down. Basically the entire community I was part of. I was part of the yoga community here in upstate New York, part of the Waldorf community. And it was kind of sad to see all these people decided just to go with pretty much everyone with the agenda that was playing out there. And for me, it was very obvious what is happening here, because I've been going deep down the rabbit hole for many years. So I saw it right away. It was like, and it was very hard to see how many people really believed into the lie and they were sucked into the fear paradigm. And I actually felt that that I'm suddenly feeling I'm all alone. I'm this lone wolf who's deciding not to wear the mask, not to play into the fear, but everyone else is going that way and I'm going this way. So I suddenly felt this huge gap between the people who I thought are my friends or part of this community. And all of a sudden I felt I'm alone in this. And there was a sadness there. Also this feeling of, you know, needing to let go of being attached to a certain group of people. Also my son had to leave the school because he's not vaccinated and he was the only boy in his class who left. And then, so that was very hard to see. And then people suggested social distancing play dates. And I was like, no, either a real play date or nothing at all. I'm not going to tell my son to stay apart from his friend and live in fear. So my son didn't see anyone for probably at least 3 months. He didn't see one single child. He was out of school. And I see the impact it had on him. He somehow became isolated. He just changed. And he became fearful in many ways. And so there was definitely some kind of loneliness for me. And it felt a little bit like, needing to walk the path alone. But then I somehow stepped into it and said, maybe I should just create my own little community. Actually, first I traveled to Connecticut. There was a community there for women. It was like a non-wearing mask group for mothers. So I actually traveled 2.5 hours to Connecticut just to be in a room with other people that are not wearing the mask and they're able to share a hug. And it was it was just so uplifting and so fulfilling. And then I thought, I can't travel to Connecticut all the time. It has to be here also. So I started actually out of my home and created a little sacred space in my home. And I started to, invite people. At the beginning, it was like 3 or 4 and slowly expanded. And last time we were actually 15 people. So I have like a monthly gathering where I share with another person. We do a sound healing and I serve a sacred cacao ceremony and facilitate a meditation. And then I added workshops on detoxing and alkaline diet, healthy nutrition. So slowly it's expanding. So I noticed, and then someone else approached me to do a group it's called Stand Up New York. And like people in New York State who are speaking up against the lockdown and the mask. So they're gonna have an event this week also at my home. So suddenly my home turned into this little community space. Actually people coming to my home now. Yeah. It's interesting how this all is coming together, but it was really about, I have to step into leadership. I can't wait for someone else to come and form a group or drive hours or always be online. I have to start something here. And I started to take the initiative and I'm building something and it's expanding. So it's really, people are, every time I do an event in my home, people are sometimes crying. They hug me, they thank me so much. It gave them so much just to get together with others and be in a room and to share love together. So it's been really, I feel I'm just expanding like never before and stepping full into leadership and making a difference in the world just by saying, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to, just buy into the agenda. I'm just going to do it the way I choose to be. I choose freedom and really rise in freedom. So it's been a great journey also, journey of expansion.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I wonder if you feel comfortable talking just a little bit around your son and how you dealt with his sadness or his discomfort, or just a few lines around that. How old is he? He
just turned 13 2 months ago. So it's a lot of changes, hormonal changes, body changes, and he's a different child than he was a year ago. And yesterday I went in a grocery store with him. He doesn't want to go shopping anymore because he's so afraid. Because he goes to Manhattan to his dad 3 times a month, and his dad goes shopping with him. He needs to put the mask on, yeah. So when he goes with me, he doesn't want to go in the store. So yesterday I said, come, I show you to be a warrior. We're gonna go in a store. So we walked this grocery store. First the manager came in, hey, you forgot your mask. I said, sorry, we're not wearing the mask. He looked at me, but then he walked away. Anyway, so we went in the store, and my son, I looked at him, he was frightened. He was walking behind me. I said, why are you walking behind me? And he was like, not the same. We used to go shopping, he enjoyed it. And now he's walking back my back, kind of putting his hoodie on, going like this. And I noticed the programming just by being with his father. He lives in Manhattan. He wears the mask all the time, even in the building, going down the hallway. He comes down with the gloves on, completely into the matrix. So my son comes back from his father. He's like so frightened. And I see the brainwashing it did to him, the programming. And it's very hard for me as a mother. I pick him up Sunday night. Every Sunday night, it's really intense for me to see him. It's a different person when I drop him off Friday than when I pick him up Sunday. And all Monday morning, I have to detox him. First, he gets his detox drink. Then he goes on a fruit diet. Then he has to jump on the trampoline for an hour. Because rebounding actually releases toxicity out of your body. So by Tuesday morning, he's finally himself again. But every Monday, it's the detoxing my child from the. So some people don't even know what it's like when he's in this, and he's very confused because I tell him, there's no danger. Masks that don't work, they're just hurting you, they're dangerous. And his dad tells him there's a danger out there, you need to protect yourself. So he's confused between these two different point of views, and he doesn't know what to believe anymore.
These are really intense times. I mean, it's not a joke. It's not a joke at all. It's severe. I am, yeah. It's just love. It's just more and more love. I mean, Kira, I don't know if you want to share the love bank if you're still here, but she gave me a great tool around, filling the children's love tank.
I'll talk about that. When my kids were little, I also had a joint custody twice, and the whole thing was just nightmarish. And Marie, I want you to know that I support your warrior, that you're cutting your kids free. So you're on the archetype of warrior, and you're cutting them out of a system where they think about globe Earth and they think there's multiple truths. So I say kudos to you for your strength. And you're right, it does make us strong. But the story about the love tank is because my kids would feel the brunt of the battle zones I was in, just with dealing with their dads, and all the friction between the two polarized points of view. I had gotten inspired to let my kids know that they felt full. And as the representative of Father, Mother, God to your children, it's like we need to keep them full of God's love. And so I just told them that everybody has a tank. It's a love tank, and it's like a gas tank in a car. And I just asked them, will you please tell me where your love tank is right now? Are you low? Are you low some love? And they would, let me know. And they'd sometimes point to their belly or wherever they felt it was. And then the rest of that minute would just be kissing, hugging, rolling around, whatever, stories, whatever, so that they felt completely full on their love tank. And I would just check with them a couple times a day. And guess what? We adults still have a love tank. We still need our love tank filled. And when we give each other the real filling of our love tank with our pure love, that's God's love, we feel it. We go, oh my God, I'm full of love. And that's been a long time, because the zombies out in the Matrix, they don't know how to love like this. And so, yeah, that's what we can do for each other to keep each other's love tanks full. So there you go.
Thank you. Well, we've been doing that in our family, and it just been a couple of days. It's been just all of it. I mean, seriously, guys, look at Kira. Just seriously, we're so blessed. It's so beautiful. All of this is so beautiful. This is real, and I guess that's part of what we're talking about in terms of community. Like we come here to really fill ourselves up, fill our love tanks up, because we go out there and it's like holy love. Sabina, you are a powerhouse, each and every one of you. Just thank you. I just have so much gratitude for each and every one of you. Because I rarely, let my energy, go there. Something significant has to happen, and then I feel all of those feelings, and I go, oh wow, yikes! I don't like that at all. Whoa, yee, so it's woof. So when I know that there's people like Kira, she just held me like an infant, and all of you guys, I know that I can come play with on Mondays, and it's very comforting. And I think that that's why we're sharing some of our deep stuff, even though it's a YouTube live. I know, Kazra, you said that you were like, whoa, this is like one thing to be in a Zoom and another thing to be on live. And I started in the beginning saying, I don't think about that, because what happens here is so powerful and so healing and so just potent that I want people to tap it. I want that. And so who am I? Like, I'm nothing, just as transparent as I can be, so that I can just hold the space for all of you, just incredible souls, to show up and share what's on your heart. I think that that's what a lot of us, that are still on the other side. There's just that fear. It's like what you're saying with your son, like just the fear. I felt so much like walking through an airport, just all the people standing, watching you, making sure you're wearing it right. Like if you just have it a little bit below. Most people towards the end, like I got strong enough to be like, I'm just fucking going. I'm walking through this. I don't care what you say, how you look at me, whatever kind of spells you're putting towards me. I am like warriored out, Sabine, I know you're a yoga teacher. All these warriors I'm pulling them in right now. All of this clearing needs it right now. And the children were so inspired because they just didn't even, wow, they were so fearless. But that's what this is. This is coming out of fear. That's this detox, is getting out of the fear of, am I doing this wrong? Am I whatever? It's like, I just keep coming back to we're the children of God. I'm going to go run and get a tissue and some OJ. Who's next? I'll be 2 seconds. Someone start. I love you guys. Thank you, Kira. Love tanks. Who's going?
It's my turn.
Hi. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Nice to meet you.
I'm going to thank to exercise the throat and come on, because I've been listening to Miraculous Mondays for a long time, and sometimes miss the live, but catch up usually the night or the next morning. And so many weeks in a row, I've been almost there. Oh, I got to go on the live Zoom, And then for whatever reason, I didn't make it, but today I'm here. And it's amazing here how much the children are being saved. And I can hear you, Sabina, about what you're speaking about with your I just want to share the story about my son, whose name is Rowan. And when he was about between say 10 and 13, one thing we would do a lot in Nova Scotia here is there's beautiful, pure, clean rivers. And we would go tubing on the rivers, like with just inner tubes. And sometimes we'd go with friends, a friend of mine who has children. But sometimes it would just be me and my son, Rowan, that would just float down this river. And for some reason, this image of floating down the river, like during this talk, is just with you guys, vision. This picture floating down the river in the middle of summer, air temperature is actually absolutely perfect. The river is just flowing. And at one point, we come to a point in the river where it kind of slows down. It gets very, very deep there. And we're just surrounded by thousands of dragonflies. And there is this, my son, Rowan, floating, and I'm seeing him in this completely dreamy, beautiful place. And yeah, this vision is coming to me so strongly about the purity, the innocence, the magicalness of all of us. And just also what Kira was sharing about the whole love tank thing, and not just to put it on our children, but to bring it back to ourselves and the innocence of the child within us, like just to go there. And I want to say the last few days, I've been a little bit behind, but I've been listening to the whole the vampire slaying stories, and just digesting and integrating all of the incredible everything that's being brought forth through the Charlie Freak community. And I really wish that I would have had access to this kind of this kind of truth, and these voices a few years ago, where I was being called in to be a far greater power with my son, Rowan, who in his late teenage years, to me, it felt like he was disappearing. Like this boy who was the person who I basically looked to always as a teacher. He's been my lead teacher in my life, and the person who's been the most inspiring, the most fiery and potent, and as far as communicating the most beautiful truth all the time, and actually pulling me up as his mother all the time, and calling me out left, right, and center. And I've honestly never in this lifetime met anyone so courageous and so pure and so beautiful. And so in the last few years, it was like I was seeing my son get taken over by something. I don't know if you want to call it a walk-in or whatever. And I started even wondering, like when I'm listening to the vampire talk or whatever, there's even been part of me wonder, like, did he become a vampire? And I say that with, I couldn't have said this 2 days ago. I'll say it now with courage. But I experienced a person who was the most pure and most potent and most beautiful soul in my life become somebody who actually deeply turned against me. And so, and I knew he would at the time, or not at the time, but in reflection now, I know that he was doing that out of survival. And it was, he was living with his father at that time and was drawn into, in order to survive, had to, felt he had to be against me and against the mother, basically against the mother. Right before the pandemic, late February, I received a phone call from Rowan's father telling me that Rowan took his life. And I struggle even saying those words because I don't even know how to describe what happened with Rowan. But my son, is not on the earth anymore. I want to understand where Rowan is. I seek for connection. I seek for truth about what happened. And I just want to say this. When you're in a situation where you've got mother, father, and child, and the mother-father thing splits, and then you're having a child where it seems like they're having to be pulled this way or that way, or they have to choose. It's devastating. It's devastating, and it's not right. It's wrong. And I'm understanding now, if I'd had the courage to not look away during what Rowan was going through, I would have realized how truly demonic his father was. And I could have named him for who he was and could have had the courage to look him in the face and call him for what he is, and to basically save Rowan. And maybe he would still be on the earth today. I don't know. But it makes me sad. Like I know Dave spoke earlier today about his children and grandchildren. He's saying he doesn't necessarily have contact with them, but it's kind of like a letting go, like a let them live their life or whatever. But there's a terrible grief there around loving your children and taking care of your children, and then them disappearing from your life. And on these shows, I hear you, Marie, speak so much about your little children, and sometimes they show up in the background there. And it just makes me remind me so much of when Rowan was little. He was so pure and so innocent like that. And there was no question in my mind that he wouldn't be here when he would be 20. Like it never occurred to me that he wouldn't, like, it's just no thought. And I just want to say, like, the celebration of the purity and the innocence of children and the children within us is just such a deep, deep, deep devotion. And there should never be any straying from that celebration, and that constant return to innocence, that we return ourselves to innocence as well as everyone in this circle and in this family, because it is truly, truly the truth that we are to call each other back to that innocence and purity. And I'm just going to return to the river. I keep getting that vision of Rowan and me in the river and the dragonflies, and the truth of magic, the magic there is with children, and in the children's words and in their movements, just their movements and their dance, and how they're just so quick to sing and quick to dance and play. And you know, we're supposed to do that every day. We are. And I don't know if I have anything more to say, but I just thank you for creating the space for spontaneous conversation and prayer, and just opportunity to allow things to come out of people naturally when it's the right time. And I'll just close it there.
Thank you so, so much. I think you have really moved everyone here in a very deep way, reminded us of why we're here, why we show up to these, and just why we're returning to the light in every moment that we can. The stakes are so high. Testimony is so powerful, Sarah. I really appreciate it. I don't know if there's really much else that can be said other than that. And I will never look at a dragonfly again without thinking of Rowan. All it means to all of us now as an angel, you know, just.
He
I
will
just
be with
want
you,
to.
Sarah. He will be with you. You will be able to feel him. You will get to know his energy, and you will feel him. Just meditate.
Yeah. Really
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Really, really beautiful.
I thank you so much, and I do feel him, and I want to say that I'm not sure how, maybe it was just a few weeks after he exited, that I woke up one morning and all I could smell was wild roses. It was so potent in my room as I woke, and I was just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like it was overpowering, and I will never forget that. And thank you, Penny, for reminding me of that. And I just wanted to say, I want to say his whole name, Rowan, and it's spelled Roan, Lawrence Messenger McClure. My last name is McClure, MCCLURE. And one of the things his father did was, in the last while when he was with, my son was with him, is he erased his last name, which he was given at birth, and he basically did everything in his power to erase me, the mother, from his life. And so when I hear all of these talks and these reminders about going to the mother, and you can't go anywhere without the mother, you have to go to the mother to rise up. Like, this is the big thing right now. Like, it is about, can't leave the mother behind, and the mother has to be so honored. Like, please, if you're forgetting the mother, there's any child that's being encouraged to forget the mother, that's an atrocity.
Wow. I think she's gone. I mean, isn't that the truth?
Exactly the truth. Exactly the truth. My daughter grew up with all her friends her age, which was probably only about 5 in the little town we were in. Not one of them had a mother. One lived grandparents, the others, all their mothers were gone, and they all tried to turn her against me straight away.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, that's a scary thing. This whole mother thing, especially as they get into teenagers with daughters, it's a really tricky one. Yeah, we become the enemy, but we also there to be the teacher of the debate to help them move on. Yeah.
Wow, Sarah, I'm so glad you're with us. I'm so glad you're in this family. I'm so glad you're going to heal so many people just by holding that space. And that's what this is. This is why more and more of us are coming out and speaking spontaneously. I love that word. That's what this is. Like, we all have to hold each other's hands. We've been traumatized. There's been so much heartache for the sons and daughters of our Creator. And the healing of the mother, it makes me want to call, I'm going to call my mother this afternoon, you know? I don't care how different we are, how many things we think differently. Just in gratitude for all of the mothers. And to be a mother is such a gift. Wow. What we do, Miraculous Mondays. There's something going on in the stars too. Colleen wrote me. Let me tell you what it is. It was really good. It's really good. Hold on, stay with me. Oh no, it was her. She's a triple water sign. Anyway, let's just say there's something in the stars around emotions right now coming to the surface and healing deeper levels. We're up to. Thank you, Sarah. My babies. I can't wait. We just have to love on the babies. That's why so many of us have been so hit by this conversation, been so moved by the work of Charlie and Colleen too. And healing this thing, this child, mother, father, child, this ascension journey. Why we've left everything, you know, to gain everything, which is each other and our home with God, where we belong. I have to blow my nose. Anybody? I'm going to mute. Go on, Alan, Patrick, Barb. I want to try and finish it too, just because the decode show is after, but if we go a few minutes after, that's okay. But
can I jump in?
Hey, honey.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hi. I want to say something to the lady just before me. I always think of Charlie when he says, we are a pair of friends. And I'm a mother of two. I have a son, he's 29, and my daughter is 27. And I'm since 1 year, I'm alone for obvious reason, because I'm the crazy one in the family. And my sister thinks I'm crazy. Everybody thinks I'm crazy. And so a few months ago, when I found you, you became my family. And I have to watch everything you do. And well, I have a few friends here. They are like me, and I can talk to them. But last week I was with my daughter, and I don't wear a mask. And she said, when 2 months ago when I was there, her boyfriend told me, if you go to the doctor and ask him to get mask free, then he will bring you to the hospital and say you're insane, in a crazy hospital. And well, I have a doctor, and he gave me the permission not to wear a mask. And ever since, I'm so free. I go in every store, I look at the people, I smile, I'm happy, and nobody asks anything. Ever since I have this paper in my bag, nobody asks anything about the mask. I go like, wow, what is this? And my doctor said, oh, you're sovereign. You just sovereign, you show this. So I was with my daughter, and she said, okay, if you don't wear a mask, don't go with me into the store, because I'm ashamed. I cannot believe you do this. You're gonna get other people sick. And I was like, okay, I stay in the car.
Wow.
Because first I thought, okay, should I wear a mask because to go in the store with my daughter? And then I said, no, it's me. This is what I do. And I don't wear a mask. And I said, okay, then I stay in the car. And another thing, on Easter, I was alone, and I was crying for 2 days because I know my family was celebrating, and they were all at my daughter's garden and had fun. And I was like, okay, they had this in our district. If you go out of the district, you would have to take this test, PCR test, up the nose. And I said, I don't take this test. I don't want this. So I stayed at home. But it was my decision. And after that, I thought, okay, it's okay for me. It's okay. I have to trust my inner feelings, And if I don't want to do this test, I don't do the vaccine. I don't, because in our district, everybody had to take the vaccine. 80,000 people in our district. They closed it up, said nobody goes out, the people could come in but not go out. So I was, for 4 weeks, I was in this district, and 40,000 people got vaccinated. And it was like a test. They said they make a test with this, like in Israel. And well, I said, no, I don't do this. And if I have to stay at home forever, I don't do this. But it's hard with, it's, for me, I'm good with myself. I'm at home, I have my friends. I don't have to go to work at the moment because it's closed. But I do home office, that's okay. And I do my inner work now. I'm trying to process with the food and everything. And I'm so thankful for you all here. You give me so much. This gives me love. But just today I told a friend of mine, everybody comes to me and wants to talk to me because I think that's what I'm here for now. And I said, you have to love yourself first before you can love somebody else. And when my daughter went to the store, I was sitting in the car and there was a line in front of the store. And then, a sister, I don't know how you call this in English, a young sister came up with her clothes on and she had big bags and stuff and with a bicycle. And I was sitting in the car, I was like, okay, God is calling me. I went over and asked, where do you go? She said, oh, I have to go to the next village. With the bicycle, with all this? I said, come on, put it in my car and I bring it to you. And she was like, wow, wow. And I said, well, this is what we're here for, to help each other. And she was like, she was out of it. And I said, yes, that's it. We have to help each other. And this is what I'm here for now. So thank you, all of you.
Thank you, God. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, sister, with your light. Thank you for speaking miracles in the moment. Thank you for taking the hits on behalf of the truth and love, and wholeness, and harmony, and helpfulness. Seriously, you said it perfect. We're here to help each other. We're so surprised when someone offers a helping hand, aren't we? Not around here. This is the operating instructions, how we roll. It's how we roll. It's not weird over here. It's weird if you don't. Wow, Barb, welcome to the circle. Thank you for coming on live too. I know we have some new friends today. Sarah and Barb, thank you. And Dave, it's the second time, and Penny too. And Sabina, you've been around a little bit, but thank you. Patrick and Ellen, if you guys want to say a couple words before we complete, I'd be happy to have you. If you're just holding space, that's cool too.
Yeah, I want to jump in for a little while. First of all, I want to say I'm really moved and touched by everyone sharing, and today, especially the women. I feel so moved by you beautiful and strong, powerful women. And yeah, it's really, really amazing. And in all that I was listening to, I was thinking about the story I heard as a kid, and it just keeps on coming back once in a while. And it's about two different kind of trees and how the trees take in their nutrients, the water especially. And the story is about, in harsh circumstances, a tree has to dig deeper. And the guy who was telling the story said it was a comparison between the trees in the Netherlands and the trees, for instance, like in Mexico, like the coconut trees. And he said, when you look at the trees here, the water level is superficial. It's close to the earth level. And trees don't have to dig in that deep. But in really harsh circumstances, like for instance, a coconut tree, the tree has to go through rocks and has to go deeper and deeper and deeper to find the water. And the difference doesn't appear in when the weather is good. The difference appears when the seasons get rough. And that's the analogy I just keep seeing in these days, that when the seasons get tough, the trees in the Netherlands, especially those close to a water, when there's a storm, you see all the trees are knocked down. You see these big plates of roots where there's not much depth. And when there's a storm or even a hurricane, and you see a coconut tree just goes like this. It's being dragged all over the place. It's going from left to right, but it's still standing firm on its ground. And that's how I feel sometimes in these circumstances, and where we're being pushed all over the place emotionally in our thinking, our feelings, and what people throw at you. But the invitation is to go deeper within and to find and connect with our inner roots. And in the whole sharing of today, it's connecting to the mother. And there is where the nutrients are, and that's where we can grow and where we can blossom in our full potential. So, yeah, thank you all for being here and reminding me of that.
It's a powerful analogy. I mean, it is like, it does feel, you know, and I was so happy to be among palm trees again and to see them, you know, go and sway with the wind and to know that they're rooted. That's this. We're encouraging each other to dig deeper within ourselves. Like what Barb just said, now I'm doing the work. Now I'm home. Now I'm working on myself and working on my diet and cleaning myself up. And that's what we're up to. It's like we've kind of come to this moment where that's what we're left with, is to do the work on ourselves and to heal and to bring it up and to let go of all of this toxic imposition of being swayed left and right and having short roots and being pulled out from under and feeling, you know, all of those things. It's been a really, really powerful times, friends, huh? Wow. Patrick, thank you for holding such beautiful space for us. Such a beautiful man. Whew. Okay, Alan, we like to save you for last, our cherry on top.
Thank you. I'm always back for the love and that powerful energy because, yeah, Miraculous Mondays doesn't fail, man. It never fails. And I want to thank you and love you all, mighty companions. And ever since I changed my diet and my lifestyle, more and more I developed this love for everybody. And so it is really difficult to turn the other cheek at first when I see people living in fear, separating themselves, wearing masks, getting vaccinated, especially the kids. I don't have any kids of my own, but I feel you parents when, yeah, the kids are getting vaccinated and they think it's the right thing to do. I ultimately don't know what the right thing is right now. I'm seeking truth, and that's why I always come back to Miraculous Monday. But I know everybody is on their path, is on their journey. What Aaron and Justin said, and so I no longer want to judge, and I want to let it be. But yeah, at first, when I look in my social media and I see my hometown friends and family posting about, I got the vaccine, and everybody's cheering them on. They're glorifying the people getting the vaccine, and it's like they're pressuring others to get the vaccine as well. But yeah, at first I was like, what the fuck is going on? But I no longer want to judge, and I just let it be. But I have a story. 15 years ago, I was in the military and I was getting deployed to Iraq, and I was told to get the smallpox vaccine, which I think it was mandatory at that time, right? We're in the military, we signed we're like puppets now, you know. But and then one of the other things was they asked me if I wanted to get the anthrax vaccine, and I was I think I was still 19, you know, I was like, yeah, you guys know what you guys are doing. Shoot me up, you know? And I got shot up. I got really sick from that smallpox vaccine. And I think I got sick from the anthrax vaccine as well. But I believe 2 years ago, I was talking to a buddy of mine who's in the United States Air Force, talking about, hey, did you hear whoever got the anthrax vaccine, you're going to get a certain percentage of disability. You should go sign up for that. And I didn't sign up for it. I ultimately don't know if it's true or not, because I stopped dealing with the Veterans Affairs and the VA hospital. They just want to give me pills. So I'm just hoping that me detoxing can really get out whatever was in that vaccine, whatever it was, like what was in that anthrax vaccine. You know, I was so young. I don't want to say mistake, right? Because Dave was talking about, hey, if you learn from it, then it's not a mistake. But yeah, I'm hoping that detox will help clear out whatever crap they put in me. And yeah, I'm actually, I feel like I'm addicted to the detox now, because I love the feeling, the energy I get from the fasting. And now I'm back on the solid food vacation. I like how John Rose says that, you know, the solid food vacation, you get that serpent out of you. But, yes. But then I also have a very interesting story of my previous solid food vacation. At day 9, I had sleep paralysis. I felt something was on top of me, holding me down. And my immediate reaction, this wasn't the first time I had sleep paralysis. I had sleep paralysis several times before, but this is the second time I felt something was on top of me, holding me down. And my immediate reaction, right, is to try to put my hands together and pray to Jesus. But I couldn't move, I couldn't speak, and I talk about it to people, and it's very interesting what everybody has their thoughts on it, or what's really going on. You know, I kind of want to know the truth, so I keep asking folks, like, what do they think? People say it's part of astral projection. Other folks are saying it's demonic. Other folks are saying, hey, yeah, your brain's awake, but your body's, you know, all these things. I thought that was interesting. And now I don't fear it anymore. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it again. So, like, you know, because now I'm more prepared for it. But yeah, that's just my story that I wanted to share about my solid food vacation, my detox. And I hear, yeah, like, because of the detox, these parasites, these demons are getting away, and they're trying to get back in and trying to hold me down. Yeah, people are saying it's spiritual, but I'm always interested to hear what others have to say about it. And yeah, please let me know what y'all think. And always here to learn. I love Miraculous Mondays. It's actually like 2 a.m. Tuesdays, and every time Miraculous Monday finishes, I'm wide awake, just because I just keep getting my mind blown all the time. It's so great. And yeah, love you all. This was another great Miraculous Monday. So powerful.
I love you, Alan. Thank you for that. I want to give it to Patrick. And then I have a few things to say about that as well. And then we'll finish up. Beautiful.
Yeah, I can encourage you, Alan, and everyone. I did Juice Fest for 20 days with Josh X in the end of last year. And there was one point during that fast that I exactly felt in the top of my arm where I had been vaccinated for a long time ago for a trip I went to. And I felt like during the fast, there was something leaving my body, and I instantly, intuitively knew that it was related to that vaccination. So I definitely believe that your body will be pure and be cleansed.
Yeah, because love always wins. And if we know that, then we're always safe, and that's where our safety is. If we defend ourselves, that means we believe we're attacked. We're not attacked. There's nothing to defend. We are, you are a holy son of God, Alan. And as you continue to detox, you're just like, right on, you gotta go. When you were speaking, it sounded to me kind of like you were in dream state, but kind of in two places at the same time. Like you woke up, but your body was still, in dream state, but you were still there. But for me, love and fear. Go ahead.
It felt like it was physical at the same time, not physical. And I noticed though, after I woke up, my arm did hurt. And I was thinking it was because I was forcing myself to put my hands together and ask Jesus to help if this is a wandering spirit to help move on. But the next day, my arm did really hurt. And that just kind of blew my mind when Patrick said that. So I still have my little scars from the smallpox shot and the anthrax shot. So yeah, that's another one. Yeah, thank you for that information.
Yeah, you're welcome. On behalf of all of us, I think that we're cleansing all of this. We're getting rid of all of it. We're getting rid of like the metals, the toxins, the grief, the resentment, the sadness. We're just getting cleansed on such deep levels because we're ascending. Like we are ascending. Like we're becoming our angelic selves. Again, we're crystallizing our bodies. I feel it. That's why I felt such a dip, how terrible it was, because I've been riding so high. And that's what I want to keep encouraging all of us to keep riding high, keep encouraging myself. We came back here to rejuvenate, oh, wow. Okay. Got to juice up again. So we're back in the feasting as well, just to kind of regroup. Really needed to. So grateful. And thank you for that. I just want to say, with all of the mamas, the vaccines and the things coming here, my niños are home now, that everything can be cleaned. Everything. And we're just doing our best not to put any more shit inside. But everything that's happened in the past is over. It can touch me not. Let's just get clean. Let's move on. And let's be the beacons of light that we are. Because as we're starting to see now, with Barb and Sarah and Dave, there's more and more of us coming. We're coming here to be together, to heal, to be with our families so we can go back in the world. Because I spoke about this, I think last week, have a ministry. There are people that need to hear this from you, however, or see it in you, or feel it from you, or whatever. But that's why your participation in this is so massive. And I love the word immense, Aaron, that you landed, because I've been saying that. I'm saying like, this is deep, man. This is immense. Like, because it is like you're pulling out your demons. Sometimes just you and yourself late at night. I mean, I came out last night and had just such a beautiful meditation. So grateful to be with the stars again. But yeah, just that. It's immense what's happening here. This is huge. And like Kira said to me, we're at the forefront of this. I think that was the word you used, but it really was encouraging to like, we're doing this, guys. We're in it. And who cares what they say? It's all for the love. It's all for the love. And as long as we know that and keep knowing that. Okay. Anything else, Aaron?
Yeah, I want to add something just real quick before we go today. Everybody shared such moving stories of their journey, and truly our words are our medicine. Like Kira said, it is very healing to be able to have this space. And I'm so proud and so grateful to be here, where everybody's holding space for myself and everybody else that's here. But we do need to remember, everything that's happening to us is happening for us to learn. We're not victims anymore, so it can't happen to us. So everything that is presented to us, even in our past and moving forward and going, it's happening for us to learn from, so we can make that next run on Jacob's ladder, that next step moving forward, so we don't get stuck in the mud. So we need to look at these energy exchanges of what can we learn from here, and do I want to in exchange with this energy? Do I want to be here with this energy, and is there a point for me to learn and living in that truth? So that's just, everything's happening for us to learn. And then just around truth, we tend to use the word the, and the word the is a conditional word. So I'm trying to, in myself, when I speak about truth, is label it as that is truth. It's not the truth. It's not it is truth. And that means that there's only one truth. And it's not conditional. It's only one. And God is that truth. So I just wanted to add that as we go forward as well. But thank you, everybody, for sharing their stories and holding space for everybody and showing up. It's a beautiful space to share with one another and to grow and really be at the precipice and be at the forefront of this. Like Kira said, we are paving the road. That means the road in front of us is not there. We are creating the road. So we need to be the examples. We need to be truth. We need to be be present for everybody, be in the now, be raw with everybody, because when you're raw, you won the war. So we live now, and that's when we won. So thank you, everybody in the chat, everybody that's going to watch this later. Thank you all for showing up and shining your light. This is what we need. This is where the beacons start. So I love you all so much.
Love you too. Thank you, Aaron, for that beautiful finale. If you want more Freak Sense love, there's a music decode going on over at Justin's channel, Wandering Towards the Truth, Michael Jackson. So I'm super excited to catch up on that one. And I love you all, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much. We're around. We have a Facebook group. We do have a Telegram group we're going to start too. So if we'll get that going, it's in there if you want to find Mighty Companions in the Telegram. And yeah, go have fun with Michael Jackson, and we'll see you throughout the week. I love you all. Namaste.
Be on the lookout for my channel coming soon.
Yay, and Aaron's got a channel coming soon. What's it called, Aaron?
Just my name right now.
Right on. We're psyched.
I'll give you my link so you can put it in the show notes.
Okay. Right on. Thank you. Love you guys. Bye, friends. Love you. Love you. Namaste.
Bye.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everybody. Love you, Kazri. Love you, Penny.